All right, I'm Chris Avina with American Outdoor News, and today we have somebody who's had a celebrated career in the professional shooting sports. She's held uh, both national and world titles multiple times. Please welcome Miss Julie Golob. Julie, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me, Chris.
You were always so accommodating, I got to say.
I try.
Now, you started shooting at a very young age, which is, well, for me in New York is a little uncommon. But how did you get started?
So I'm a daddy's girl. So I grew up hunting and fishing and hanging out with him on the range as a young girl. And it's something that I fell in love with. I fell in love with the people of the shooting sports. They became an extended family for me. And so it wasn't long before I decided that, all of these people are having so much fun and they're so supportive and amazing that I need to do this too. And I shot my first competition at the age of 14. So
Wow.
It was young. I mean, some kids are starting even younger these days. We all look back and go, wow, I wish. Yeah, it was an amazing experience just sharing that at a time, when 14-year-old girls are thinking about being rebellious and everything else. My best friend was my dad, and we had just a great relationship.
That's great. Family is so important, especially today. You
It
don't
is.
have the family unity like we had when I was growing up, when you were growing up, is a little different.
Yeah, definitely.
But so you started when you were 14.
Yes.
When did you get your first sponsorship?
Oh gosh. Well, it's kind of funny actually. I started to turn some heads in competition because one, there weren't very many girls shooting, on the range, and
Yep.
two, I was getting pretty good. And so my first sponsor was actually Smith and Wesson, and it's funny because how everything comes full circle. They're, who I represent now. And they sent me a beautiful 4006 that I started competing with,
Wow.
and had a lot of fun with it. And yeah, so it's neat to see that there's so many great companies in the industry, but Smith has been a big supporter of sponsored shooters and shooting sports and youth shooting. It's very cool.
So from there, you got recruited into the Army. How did that happen? That's that's not a very common way to get approached by the Army. How did
No.
that come about?
Sure. Well, I was competing a lot. My dad and I would travel all over and all over the Northeast. I'm a fellow New Yorker, so
Yep.
I saved up my money to go to the nationals, earned a slot there based on my performance at these competitions in my local club. And I had some friends. Mom and dad said, you can go. I went and shot my first nationals, and it was there that the Army team was shooting. It happened to be the first year that the Army won the USPSA Nationals too. So they were looking to grow their program quite a bit, and caught the attention of the coach. And he said, hey, how would you feel about joining the Army and shooting for us? And honestly, that was just a dream come true because at that point, it was 16, 17 years old, figuring out college life, where would I go? But I had this dream of being a national champion. And the only way that was going to be possible was something like joining the military and shooting for the Army Marksmanship Unit. So I came home from the nationals and said, guess what, Mom, Dad, I'm joining the Army.
I'm sure they were thrilled.
They were
You're not going
nervous.
to any more competitions.
Right. But it did work out. It was obviously when I gave them a little bit more of the details, then they were excited.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you don't get any better training than being in the military.
It was a neat experience. The number of rounds sent downrange, I shot over 100,000 rounds in 1 year.
Wow.
So, that kind of foundation is incredible. I rely on it even still today. I don't shoot that much. I don't think anybody's really shooting that much nowadays. But
can't get the ammo.
Exactly. But it was a really great experience, especially 18 to 25 years old. Being able to learn a lot about life, leadership, and goal setting, and doing it while you're wearing black and gold.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, you came out of the military. How do you start a career as a professional shooter? You know, it's it's not something that somebody aspires for growing up, saying, I want to be a professional three-gun shooter or a competition shooter, and actually make
A living.
a very good living doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's something I always wanted, but getting out of the army, truthfully, I was a little burned out.
Mhm.
That much shooting, that much pressure, there's constant pressure to always perform well. And I kind of lost sight of the fun of it all, the reason why I enjoyed shooting so much. And so I had no intention of going pro.
Yeah.
I was going to become a school teacher and do that. And
Hmm.
I decided after I got out, I went to a local club match and I fell in love with the sport all over again. And I said, I got to get back. I love this too much not to have it be a part of my life. And at that time, Glock was looking for somebody to work in their GSSF program. So I took a position with them, and it wasn't long before Smith and Wesson said, we remember you. Come on
We
back.
want you back.
Exactly.
And you've been with Smith and Wesson ever since.
I have, yeah.
Wow. Well, you know what? It's hard to find people who are so dedicated, not only to the craft, but promoting the sport like you do. And that just comes uh, from the passion and the love of being involved in what you do. But I think we have an amazing industry. I really do.
We really do. I mean, the support that the industry gives to junior competitors, clubs, shooting sports, shooting programs,
Yeah.
hunting, all of that. I mean, you look at, I compare it to like rodeo. There's like this tight knit group of sponsors that support rodeo and rodeo sports and cowboy lifestyle, right? Well, with the firearms industry, I think it's even bigger. They support not only the competition aspect and shooting, but like a lifestyle choice that people can be responsible and really take their life seriously and want to be willing to protect it in others. So it's a really cool thing.
It is. It really is. Now, you have so many medals: gold, silver, bronze. I mean, you've really had a celebrated career. What's next for you?
Oh, there's still a few matches that I want to do well, a few perfect scores that I want to achieve. I'm focusing a lot on action pistol, which is the Yankee Cup. So that's a big focus for me because it's one of the things I haven't checked off the list yet. But that's just it. I mean, there's so many opportunities within the shooting sports. Even if you get tired at one, you can jump on and try something new. If you're a speedy action shooter, go shoot some bullseye, go try shooting some clays, something like that. There's tons of different opportunities out there. So even if you are feeling a little overwhelmed or burnt out, sometimes hitting a refresh button on a new sport is just what you need.
Well, why don't you explain what you're doing now? Because
Okay.
I think the average person really doesn't have a grasp of what shooting sports are about.
Sure. So right now my focus is action pistol, which is kind of bullseye meets speed. So it's a draw from the holster sport. And instead of shooting a lot of different targets and running around, they're fixed positions. So we have four main courses of fire: barricade, practical, plates, and mover. And there's a perfect score of a 1920. So each course is a little bit different, but we shoot anywhere from 10 yards to 50 yards. So it's a little out there for a handgun.
50 yards is a distance.
It is a good distance. And on the target, the center of the target is a 4-inch X ring. So our goal is to hit, that 10 ring every single time and get as many X's as possible. And it's one of those sports that's a very personal sport, versus a lot of run and gun sports that you may see out there, like 3-gun or USPSA and IDPA, where everything is constantly changing and you're kind of comparing your score against other people. Because there is a perfect score in the Yankee and action pistol, you're really focusing on your own ability and yourself. So it's really neat. I enjoy it a lot.
So what you're doing now, how does that differ from 3-gun?
So 3-gun is obviously more firearms. So you've got
Yeah.
a rifle, pistol, and shotgun. And it focuses less on the gun handling aspects. So in 3-gun, you're going to be drawing, reloading on the move, whatever with whatever, platform that you're using at the time. It's a very physical sport. And depending on the flair of it, you could be shooting targets out to 1,000 yards, or everything could be super close and speedy.
Yeah.
Whereas that action pistol sport, everything is very fixed. This is your target, your 2 targets at the 10-yard line, and you will shoot them X number of times, and that is it. So, if you enjoy free shooting sports, like where you can do anything and you have problems to figure out and you try to test your stuff like 3-gun, USPSA, IDPA, that'll be your go-to. But if you like something that's very specific and regimented, action pistol and steel challenger are very good options, and rimfire challenge too.
I just a plain old target shooter.
Yeah, no, that's great. But that's just it. I mean, you can borrow from some of these shooting sports and just, kind of like, oh, well, I'm going to try this new target. I'm going to see how they shoot this steel or whatever in your everyday, day-to-day kind of goals that you want to set for yourself, or dry fire or whatever. So it's neat. It's cool.
Well, you've definitely broken down barriers as a woman in the sport. How is that advanced, say, in the past 5 years, women in shooting sports?
It's funny. A lot of people think that shooting sports in the industry have been so gruff, male dominated, little lady kind of things. And
Not really.
I haven't found that to be the case. A couple people, you have a few outliers here and there that you're going to find. But I think that, being young and getting started in having that extended family in the shooting sports, and then making it a career, being able to show women that this is fun, this is rewarding in so many different ways, whether you just want to learn how to carry or if you want to become a national champion. And seeing so many more women and girls, especially over the last 5 years, is just, it's blown up, right? We have so many female pro shooters now. We have so many women that are not even pro shooters, but are just supporting a Second Amendment lifestyle and a level of proficiency and carrying and all of that. It's really neat to see.
How is it being a veteran in the sport at such a young age, and having like some new hot shot coming onto the scene? You're like,
it's funny. Most of the hot shots that you see are very respectful. They've grown up. That's the thing about, the shooting. When you're on a range, you have rules. You have to learn to respect those rules, and you have fellow people on the line or fellow competitors, and you can't be a spoiled kind of nasty person, because you won't want to stay for long. Nobody will want you around. So
True.
it's really a neat thing, because even the kids that are pushing the envelope, they have aspirations to do what you do, and so they're very respectful, and they're little sponges, which is, it's great. That's how we keep building this legacy.
Well, you've certainly earned that, the respect of your peers. You were the first and only woman to win national championships in 5 different divisions. How do you top that?
7 Keep going. And that's just it. I mean, there's so much that we can do, and it's great to be the first at something, but shooting is personal, and when you treat it that way, it can be extremely rewarding.
Well, due to the current climate out there today, what's going on in Ukraine, you see them basically handing out guns to people on the street. We need you to fight. Here's a gun. How do you see like the antis shifting, supporting that, but yet they don't support it here?
it's often it goes hand in hand. When you're so vehemently anti-gun, you're usually a hypocrite. So it's frustrating, but it's nothing we haven't seen before. I'm so glad that people in Ukraine and people here in the United States are taking their own safety, their own defense in their own hands, and they're learning and they're doing what they need to do. And thanks to the internet, and thanks to people having podcasts and people training on the internet and people sharing things through social media, we have an accepted community, where it used to be when I started, we didn't talk about shooting sports beyond the range, because it was New York, it was during the assault weapons ban, it was like Fight Club. You
Really
just don't
was.
share it.
Yeah.
Whereas now people are like, you know what? No, this is my lifestyle. I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of what I believe in. And so those kind of situations, I think, are helping. And and that's what changes hearts and minds in the end. When people really put themselves in other shoes. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
Well, last year alone, I think we had 5 or 7 million brand new first time gun owners.
That's crazy. That's a huge number.
That
Yeah.
is. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. I know people firsthand that never handled the firearm in their life, and they saw what was going on in our country, riots and burning businesses, and just the craziness that went on in 2021. And they say, you know what, I gotta protect my family.
Yes.
And they went out, they bought something, whatever they could.
Yeah.
Now, we've always had a lobbying arm to support our rights. And I know, as we discussed, there's only so much you can say. You've been on the board of the NRA, and you're bound legally to what you can and cannot say. We need a political action group, like what the NRA actually is, that has the political clout to support and protect our rights. Who do you see filling that void?
Gosh, there's a lot of people doing great work. Second Amendment Foundation, Firearms Policy Coalition, the NSSF's PAC. There are a lot of groups out there that are stepping in to, make sure that the industry is represented and that the people are represented rather. The thing is, though, what we've seen over the past couple of years is that our voices matter when it comes to how we protest, how we speak, how we share things on social media, how we purchase. And so even if you're frustrated with not seeing what you want to see in Washington, you have a voice and you have a vote. And these things truly matter. And it's good that we're seeing so many more people step up and realize that they have a responsibility, a civic responsibility, in how they act. And that's a very good thing.
It is. And, there's always new groups coming up, stepping up. But do they have the political contacts that we need?
Time will tell, I guess. At least we have, the voices out there, and that's the first step. That's the beginning. And, we need to rally behind those voices, and we also need to use our own. So it's a very, very important time.
Well, there's always, the soft-spoken approach, like Uncle Ted. He's,
It works for some. It may not be your style, but that's okay. It's okay. Everybody has their own way of communicating and reaching out and connecting with people. And we need to remember that this is what binds us together.
Now, do you see New York? Well, in New York, being a former New Yorker, I know you're not here anymore, right? You're one of the smart ones. They actually had made it to the Supreme Court, trying to overturn some of the gun laws. which was a big step for us.
Huge.
Do you ever see the SAFE Act being overturned?
I would love for it to be overturned. I mean, you drive through all of New York, except for in a few select places, a few select cities, and you see people with signs on their yards to get rid of the SAFE Act. It's affecting people that truly need to be able to protect themselves and their families. And so I don't know, there would have to be a major political change and climate in New York for that to go away. And I think there's so much corruption within the politics of New York that would be very, very difficult. And it breaks my heart, because I still have family there. I still have friends there, and they're fighting the good fight. It's like when everybody talks about, oh, well, just leave New York, or, oh, just leave California, or, oh, just leave Maryland and New Jersey. It's not that easy for some. And I applaud those who are really, sticking to their guns, right? They're it's a figure of speech, but they're fighting the good fight. And I think that is so very important.
I couldn't agree more. And, I look forward to what's to come. I follow a lot of different people involved in the industry. It's always good to hear a different opinion, a different approach. I think it keeps us well informed, and it definitely gives you a more educated approach to how we're going to protect our rights.
Definitely.
So what's next for you? What's a lot
of competition, it's that time of year. Things start to rev up. So, from April to basically October, I spend a lot of time in the range, working with various different sponsors on projects like podcasts and gun smarts and all of that good stuff. Just, riding the wave.
Well, where can we find you?
Best place to find what I'm up to is my website, juliegolob.com, JULIEGOLOB. You can find my links to social media there, my blog, videos, all that good stuff.
All right. Well, definitely follow Julie on her site and her blogs, and subscribe to our podcast, our magazine as well. And we look forward to seeing everybody soon.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We love our children. We protect them. We guide them. We prepare them for life in the world. With all that we do, from deep in our hearts, we cannot control all things. Life-threatening illnesses and disabilities affect far too many of our children each year. While we cannot change the circumstance, we can make dreams come true. Dreams to provide hope, to provide spiritual healing and strength, to provide moments of happiness and relief in the hardest of times. We can give a glimmer of light and hope in a time of darkness and despair. Join huntofalifetime.org to help make dreams come true, to provide hope for children with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Hunt of a Lifetime is a nonprofit organization fulfilling dreams for hunting and fishing trips to youth 21 and under with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Visit huntofalifetime.org to learn how you can make a difference.